Hello there, and welcome to BluLemon Athletics, where we exercise, nourish, and inspire. I'm Crystal, your National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer, and today we have an incredible full-body 30-minute workout session in store. We're going to circle around 14 total bodyweight exercises. No equipment necessary, but if you have an extra yoga or exercise mat, I recommend that keeping in close proximity just in case you need it for added cushion or support during any floor time. Also, today's all about AMRAP, as many reps as possible. But I want you to be mindful. If you're expecting, have a recent surgery, injury, if you experience any muscle fatigue, aches, discomfort, pain, soreness, it's imperative not to overexert yourself. You can always pause the video, take a break, and rehydrate at any time. And like always, consult your medical physician with any issues or concerns. All right, before we dive in, we're gonna go ahead and begin by engaging in a dynamic warm-up. And this is gonna include a full range of motion here. See, the idea is to increase the body's core temperature, the muscle activation, mobility, and technical buildup. And this basically helps to loosen up the tissues surrounding your joints while avoiding injury during our workout. All right, so let's jump in with jumping jacks. Modification would be to simply step it out. And then if not, your jumping jacks, I want you to concentrate on your form and your breath. Also, soft reach ahead. You're not slamming your arms up. And also your reach is nice and extended. Your arms are lengthened. Your stance is spread, low joint impact, soft landing. For an advanced option, you can speed progression, which just means simply to speed it up. Remember, form is quality over quantity. Also, this is fantastic for your quads, your calves, your glutes, your adductors, your hamstrings, your biceps, your lats. I love the jumping jacks. You can also work on split jacks. So whichever you prefer. A couple more seconds here for our dynamic warm-up move. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Moving on. So for your body weight air squat, this is king of all exercises. It just is phenomenal for so many different reasons. So we're gonna dive in here. I want you to keep a few things in mind with this squat. First of all, your feet are gonna be slightly wider than your hip width apart and shoulder width. Your straight back is very, very important here for alignment. Navel to spine, of course, your proud chest. Also, your thighs are gonna be parallel to the floor. Your knees are slightly tracking over those toes. Your booty is gonna be nice and low and contracted. Also, it's almost as if you're sitting into a low, low chair. So your abs and core are engaged as you squat down and slowly squat back up. You're working on your balance, your form here, your strength, of course your glutes, your quads, and your hamstring are all getting a great benefit. Down and up. And take your time here because form and the quality of your bodyweight air squat is of most importance. You can speed it up ever so slightly. A couple of advanced options. You can squat and pulse. Come up. You can also turn this into a squat jump. Breath, form are your best friend. Exhale on effort. You can also squat and balance. Squat, balance. Take your time here. And then for a modification, same form, just a little slower, maybe not as deep. So still nice and controlled here. Couple more. Your shoulders are down and rolled back. All right, let's get those bodies nice and warmed up. And 3, 2, 1. All right, moving on. Now for your lateral line hops, these are a lot of fun. Okay, so this is going to improve your overall SAQ, your speed, agility, and quickness. Terrific for building power, strength, foot speed progression. You're gonna love it. So you're gonna imagine an imaginary line here. You're simply going to hop over, nice and close to that line. Keep in mind, we're striving here for structural and neuromuscular efficiency, not so much perfection. Take your time with it. Advanced option, you can jump over and jump tuck. Jump over, jump tuck. And then for a modification move, step it over. As if you're skiing down the bunny slope. On a nice vacation in Aspen, Colorado, or Montana, wherever you'd like to go. But you are down that bunny hill, here we go. This is your modification. We're just moving, we're keeping movement. Nice and fluid here. Breathing, your breath. And the idea here is to use that mid-foot contact as you bounce lightly. Soft landing, soft knees, neutral hip width stance. Your heels are barely tapping the floor here. Got that imaginary line. Couple more. You got this. Looking good out there. 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Moving on. So for your standing knee elbow crunch, we're going to work on our mobility and strength here. Abs and quads, everything's engaged, embracing that core, working on that breath. And the idea here is to transfer your body weight into one leg. See that? Knee to opposite elbow and crunch. Engage, engage, strengthen, strengthen. And for a modification, you can take out the crunch. Okay? You're still bringing up that knee up to the chest. You're not crunching in your back, it's more of your core that you're trying to embrace and strengthen here. Okay? And then for an advanced move option, you can hold. And you're working on your balance. And a lot of strength pulls into this move. And you're, of course, breathing. I'm gonna keep reminding you that. Working on that breath. It'll do wonders for you, in your athletic ability over time, and in your current state. Smiling is optional. But you can see, you're having a lot of fun here, right? All right, a few more, and we'll push on. Excellent. Definitely feel this in your glutes, your hindquarters, that booty, which is good. We want that, right? Everything to be nice and tight, solid, muscular, and strong. Fantastic. Moving on. Now it's that time. You knew it was coming eventually, sooner or later. And no, it is not the burpee. Not this time. You got lucky. This is the push-up. So there are over 50 different variations of the push-up. There's modified versions, there's advanced versions, tons of different kinds of ways to do this. But we want to focus here on the overall form and technique, the mechanics of the push-up. So there's a couple of different things we want to keep in mind. First off, we're going to be working our chest, our shoulders, our triceps, our biceps, the core. We're going to be distributing body weight from our toes all the way to our fingertips, and that's key. Also, if you push back on the heels and really tighten and engage that booty, those glutes, that'll help you by far. But there's a couple of things here as we get into the position. If you'd like to modify it, go ahead and stay on your knees. But I'd like your elbows to be at a 45-degree angle, not a 90. Also, your gaze is about 3 feet in front of you. So if you're a pro on push-ups, go ahead and dive in and get started while I talk here. Your trunk is elongated. The chest should come to about 1 inch off of the floor. Back is straight, core is engaged. You can also pick up the modification a tad by extending one leg out and keeping one down. And switching every so couple. And of course you have your breath as well, which is synced into the movement. Your toes are close together, navel to spine, the booty's nice and low, that back is nice and straight. We're distributing the body weight, and I think that's key. As you dive into this. Now, if you can do anywhere between 10 to 20 based on your own fitness level, that's a great place to launch in to add in a couple more advanced options. There are several. You can do the push-up clap, you can do it a plyometric move, you can even do the in and out push-ups. So you have a couple of different options there, but a lot of great tips. You will get better and better the more you work on these. But the main thing is here, make sure that you're checking your form, your technique, your overall quality over the quantity. Also a good rule of thumb to remember is there's always advanced options. So just when you think you've mastered it and you can do so many, maybe throw in a nice challenge. You can do opposite knee to elbow, Spider-Man push-ups, you know, push-up jacks galore. The wide grip is going to work on your shoulders, whereas the close grip is going to work more on those triceps. And there you have your push-up. And it's something you perfect over time as well. Just like the basic bodyweight squat or anything else, there's a lot of technique that goes into it. So for your next move, it's the high knees, or AKA butt kickers. You can turn these into two different moves, but very similar. So the high knees, for modification, it will be a nice march here, but I want those knees to come upward towards the chest with your back maintaining a nice straight alignment. Your core, your abs, your overall stomach region here is completely engaged while you're focusing on your breath and your posture. Shoulders are down and relaxed, roll back. There we go. And this is a cardio intensive move. So if you want to kick it up a notch, notice my back is still nice and straight. I'm working on my core, just at a faster pace, adding a nice jog or hop to it. Working on your calves, your quads, your abs, of course, hamstrings. And coordination is key. Now for your butt kickers, just like it says, backwards. Heel is slightly tapping the glutes. It's almost as if I'm with the jog, as my arms are nice and low. A couple more. And I'm working on that breath at the same time. Whatever you choose, keep moving, don't stop. 3, 2, and 1. Great job, and we're moving on. The bent knee glute kick back. You're gonna wanna have your yoga mat or exercise mat handy for this. You're on all fours here, and you simply wanna extend that leg back towards an imaginary wall. Crunch it back in, you can drop it if you like, or crunch all the way to the chest. And you're gonna get into a nice rhythm here before you switch to the other side. And if you'd like to bring this to the next level for an advancement option, crunch all the way in and extend up and out and hold. And this is completely up to you, but just to give it some variety, a little challenge added to the mix. Really feel this in your hamstrings, your glutes, your core. Notice I'm not locking my elbows. A couple more. And there you have your bent knee glute kick back. Now we have our standing straight leg kick or extension. Now these are great for your swings on your legs, but we want to make sure we're keeping them under control. And here's what I mean. This is a perfect exercise, especially if you use this for dynamic stretching, but for your low back, your glutes, your hamstrings, I want everything to be noticed here. So your stance a little wider than shoulder width apart, okay? And you're gonna go ahead and step back, and you're just gonna kick up. And I can really feel those hamstrings getting a nice stretch That's why a lot of times this move is included in a dynamic warm-up. When you're taking your time, you are working on your balance and poise here. Your hands can rest on your hips if you'd like, but you're just transitioning from the right and left leg. Working on getting that kick higher and higher each time is a great progression. Notice my foot placement. It's wherever you feel comfortable. It can be at your other foot as well, or it can be back. Whatever is great for you and works. We're all built a little differently, but at the same time, we want to make sure that our form is in great quality. So you want to check that constantly. See what I've done with my arms here? Just getting a nice flow and rhythm to it before I switch on to the other leg. And breathing, and I'm sure you can hear it by now. Starting to pick up. A couple more. And there you go. All right, moving on to our next move. You're going to be working your low back, your hamstrings, your abs, glutes. There's no pressure really on the low back. So I want you to go ahead, get into a low plank, and you're going to switch your hips to the earth from either side. Keep your toes nice and together. Your back is straight, your core is engaged. Your gaze is natural, not forced. No pressure on the neck. And these are actually a lot more difficult than they appear. So take your time with these, get into a nice rhythm, a nice circuit there. And reap in the benefits. Really feel your body working for you. And there you have your London bridges. Now your side knee crunch. This one is going to be a standing workout move. You're going to crunch, almost like we did earlier, but this is not opposite. We're keeping alignment with the same side here, and we're doing a few on each side before we switch over. This is working your obliques, aka those love handles. Working on the breath. A couple on each side. Still feel this in the glutes, so we're getting quite the workout. This does require a little bit of grace and balance, poise. So for this, if you'd like to, for modification, hold onto a chair or the wall, definitely recommended. If not, you're concentrating on the overall form of the workout. A few more. We're diving right in. All right. Now the mountain climbers, phenomenal full body workout move, just like the squat, the push-up. So many big major muscle groups involved here. This is gonna help for your core strength, which is your foundation, the baseline of exercise and your body's strength for overall, total body. Heart health benefits here, also endurance. There's a lot of different variations of the mountain climbers, around 50 if not more. So we'll stick to a couple here. But your mountain climbers, you're gonna be in a high plank position. And I like to do opposite knee, opposite elbow. Working on the breath, keeping the core and abs engaged, of course. This can be a speed progression exercise, or you can slow it down. And for me, it's actually a little bit more difficult. It adds that next level of challenge if you slow it down. So completely your option there. But you can also jump, making this into a mini burpee here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever you choose. There's a lot of different ones. So I'll let you decide. which pick is your favorite. But like I said, there's over 50 variations. All right, moving on. Now we're gonna get a little fancy here with our curtsy lunge. This one's a very proper form of exercise, as you want to engage in a nice curtsy. This is what I like to do with my hands, my arms, but yours might be on your hips. They might be overhead, behind the head with the arms above your shoulders. So it's whichever you prefer, but do notice my gaze is nice and forward. It's straight ahead. It's not down. It's not looking all around. It's nice and regulated, controlled. For your curtsy lunge, you want to come down to where the knee is hovering over the floor or the mat. You're stabilizing those hips. You're working on your glute strengthening, the inner thighs and legs, backs, nice and straight. Working on your hamstrings and your calves, and also a little bit of your balance. For modification here, slow it down. Maybe don't go down as far. Engage that core. For an advanced move, there are a couple different variations here, but for now, I'd like you to keep it nice and simple. Speed it up a little bit if you like, but we are winding down here to our cool down pretty soon. We've got one more exercise. All right, let's hit it. The side plank hip dip, this one's a fun one. You're gonna be lowering your pelvis to the floor, your hips, your heels are gonna be stacked. This is great for trimming down that waistline. It's basically a modified version of your elbow plank. Even just holding here for modification is absolutely fine. You're really building that core. If not, you're going to hip dip. Nice and slow and controlled here. And you're gonna switch over after you do a couple on that side. Heels are stacked. And you're just trying to get a good amount of reps in. As many reps as possible before we move on. All right, and we are moving on. All right, so for your cherry pickers, you're gonna go ahead and work on your hamstrings here, your back. There's gonna be a slight bend in your knee, and that's what's most important here. I wanna point that out. After our big exercise, we wanna go ahead and cool down slowly yet gradually to get our heart rates back to normal. So I want you to spread your stance a little wide here, and an advanced option would go even wider, okay? But those knees, I wanna bend. I wanna straight back. 3 rows of cherries, we're gonna pick. 1, 2, 3 behind you. And that just feels amazing in those muscles. Really feel it in the hamstrings. Forward, middle, back. And you're gonna keep picking those cherries a couple of times here. So you can get an idea of how wide you'd like to have your stance. And you can adjust it throughout. But those knees, I want that slight bend. All right, and we'll move on to our next dynamic stretch or our next cool down move here. So previously we worked on our squats. Now for our cool down move, we're going to incorporate the squat with a side step. So I want you to step to the side and squat. Side, squat. And remember, for our squat, our booty is down low and far back as if sitting into that low, low chair. Working on our glutes, our thighs, AKA those quads, hamstrings, calves. You're exhaling on the effort, elongate, lengthen, expand. That's what we're about to move into when we start our static stretching, which is up here next. Couple more. Make sure not to strain that neck. You want a nice neutral gaze. Couple more. All right, excellent. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on with our first full static stretch. We have a couple of these and we will complete the workout session. Fantastic, phenomenal. All right, moving on. Okay, we have made it so far. You're doing awesome, hang in there. Just don't give up, just keep moving for me. We're just about finished. We're gonna go ahead and move on now to our static stretching portion. So this feels so nice to get back to the bodies after a great and terrific workout and cool down. So here we go. We're gonna begin with our runner's lunge. So for this one particularly, you're gonna feel a nice hip flexor stretch. Groin, legs, incredible. We're gonna open up our hips here and sink them down to the earth. The heel of the foot will be to the hands. You can start on either leg you like, but notice how I'm inching back, my knee here, my leg, to really get the full maximized benefit of the stretch. Most important though, I'd like you to keep your knee aligned with your shoulder there. If it's touching, that's even better. Advanced option, elbows. We're down to our forearms now. And if you can creep down even further, I welcome that challenge. You might be flexible enough to go all the way down to where you can lie your chest to the floor, to the mat. And if you can do that, props to you. I used to be able to. Now I'm gonna have to work back up to that. But that's what's great about exercise and flexibility. We all have our own levels. And you can slightly push yourself to enter into the next phase or level. But you'll get better and better with more and more practice and consistency. That's key, consistency. Notice my knee, it's touching the elbow, it's tucked in close. And I can even go a little further down. Just go to the best of your ability. And you want to hold each side for around 30 seconds. So whether that means pausing the video or whatever you may need to do, 30 seconds on each side is fantastic and recommended for static stretching post-workout. Okay, let's move on to our next one. And it's important to remember here also that we all have our own levels of flexibility and how far our body will take us. So stretching is about finding that feeling your way into the places where your muscles have sensation, but without causing any injury. So you want to inhale as you move into a stretch, and then exhale once settled, and then inhale again to move in deeper to that stretch. Stretching, like we said, it helps really mechanically remove that lactic acid while increasing that blood flow to your organs. You want to lengthen, expand, and elongate with your stretching. For your quad stretch, this one is a little bit of balance. So if you want to grab a chair or the wall to hold on to for extra support, most welcome. But you're going to take one leg and you're going to pull it up here to where that heel is touching gently upon the glute. You're balancing, but I want a slight bend in your knee here, the one that's anchored onto the floor, and you're gonna pull towards the glute. But I do not want you to hold on to the ankle or any type of joint. I really want you to concentrate either on the toes or the foot, but not the ankle. And you're pulling, your hips are forward slightly, your chest is proud, shoulders again are down, relax and roll back. And you're gonna switch, typically after about 30 seconds of one side, then you would switch. So here I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea of some advanced options as well as modifications. But typically you wanna get in that nice stretch for around 30 seconds before switching or moving on to your next move for static stretching. And you can use two or just one. A couple ways to help you with balance. Hold that wall, hold that chair. And typically one side is a little bit more balanced than the other. Okay, now we're gonna move on to our next move for our static stretching. For the cat and cow sequence, we're gonna be utilizing our spine, the neck, the hips, the abs, the back, This is basically massaging as it stimulates the organs in the belly, like the kidneys and adrenal glands. But it's going to be a synchronized movement to breath. So you're going to inhale on cow and exhale on the cat. On all fours here. And I want you to have your own rhythm. As you transition back and forth, this is all for you and what feels great for your body. But I like to imagine a cat sitting on a fence for Halloween as I transition into the cat sequence. Nice and tall, back is arched, and leaning back a little bit on the heels to intensify the movement. Cow. Feels wondrous to the low back. Back to the cat, nice and high. Do it for a couple of rounds on these. Try to match the breath with one move. And there you have the cat and cow. Feels phenomenal. Our bicep stretch, we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back here, low down by the glutes. Actually, we're going to interlace at the base of the spine, right below, all the way down as far as your arms will allow. And you're going to do a nice stretch here for the biceps. And remember to keep your shoulders down, rolled back and relaxed, at ease, nice and calm. There's a slight bend in your knees. About 30 seconds or so. And you can see a nice stretch. I'm lifting up just a tad here to intensify the stretch. But a nice stretch is what you want for the biceps. And then we're going to move on to the tricep stretch. The tricep stretch, you're going to deep press and retract at the scapula to ear. So right between the shoulder blades is where you'd like your fingertips to rest. Same thing with a slight bend in the knee here. Gaze is forward, nice and aligned with your neck. And you're pulling to the furthest point of compensation. You're not injuring or straining. You're just pulling to where you can gather a comfortable yet a little tighter than normal stretch. And you're going to switch after about 30 seconds, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the other side just to get an idea of that tricep stretch. Feels great. It does wonders. The static stretching after the workout is very important. All right, perfect. And moving on. Now the figure 4 stretch is one of my personal favorite moves here. I love the stretch and static stretching. This is going to target your hip flexors. Those are always so tight for me. The low back, your glutes for sure. And you know, the glutes are a very powerful muscle for the human body. It's a big muscle group as it is, but this feels amazing for them. So we're gonna go ahead here and we're gonna cross the ankle over the knee. You can start with either side that you'd like to, and your foot's gonna be flexed. And we're going to lay back on this one to relax our neck and shoulders. And we're gonna pull in underneath the knee. Notice I'm underneath, I'm not on any type of joint, putting any stress onto it, and we're pulling in to where that ankle or that knee is coming close to the chest. And we're pulling towards the point of sensation without causing injury. About 30 seconds on each side, but you can really feel that great deep stretch here with the figure 4. And this has a lot of different names. I'm switching over, and you can feel one side is definitely, most definitely tighter than the other, and that'll happen. Just like your balance, one side is usually better than the other. Really feeling those hip flexors and the glutes. Oh, this is a fantastic stretch, not just for runners, although this is amazing for runners as well, but really that works out to where you can utilize that stretch at all levels of athleticism and throughout a given day. The best stretch ever in my book. Wow, you crushed the workout session today. Way to bring out your inner athlete. You were incredible. I know you could do it. I knew it. So thank you so much for joining as I had a terrific workout myself along with you, and I hope you took a lot of great information from it. Looking forward to seeing you again on our next session. Go ahead and click the thumbs up if you enjoyed today's workout. Of course, subscribe to the channel, BluLemon Athletics, and click the bell for notifications. Also, dive into our website, www.BluLemonathletics.com, and check us out on all of our social media platforms too. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. BluLemon Athletics, a zesty you with a splash of invigorating blue. Thanks guys, BluLemon out.